Welcome to Gems for Shom, a show about beat digging, records, and other things. Today, I'm joined by Phonte Coleman, Grammy-nominated rapper, singer, songwriter, producer, actor, voiceover artist, podcaster, documentarian, and the list goes
Yeah,
on. I've
I've done a lot of things.
yeah, I mean, you've done a ton of stuff, my friend. I've first heard of Fonte from his recordings with Little Brother and their breakthrough album, The Listening. I learned even more about Fonte from his fantastic work with Nicolay and Foreign Exchange, showcasing his true range as a vocalist and songwriter. Fonte has had great success in many forms, working in television and film, from Sherman Showcase to The Breaks. I've been a fan throughout his career. I like to call him Mr. Hip Hop Quotable. Thanks for joining me, brother.
Man, thank you for having me, man. We talking records on a Sunday. It feel like church. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
That sounds perfect. You have a very special set of skills, and your expertise is important.
You know what I'm saying?
Discography, really wild. When I was just reminding myself before this, you've really done a ton of stuff. And in addition to your wide range of talents, I've learned that you're a DJ with a deep record collection. So perfect to have you on the show.
Man, thank you for having me, bro. This is a lot of fun.
All right. You're a man of the world, and you famously grew up in North Carolina. Tell me about your early exposure to music.
Man, my early exposure to music was like I think like most people, it was the radio. You know what I mean? We had music in my house. My m- my uncle Mike, he was a DJ, and he was the first black DJ at the radio station in the town that I grew up in in our town of Red Springs. And so shouts to Robertson County, shouts to Red Springs. And he was the first DJ there. This was before I was born. This is before my time. But by the time I came around, his records were still around. And so his records were always in the house. My mother, she always played records in the crib. She would always play Natalie Cole's Thankful album. That's like a core childhood memory for me. I love that record. That was one of her favorites. Um, she was just always playing records. My other uncle, my uncle Brod, he was like a big like jazz funk fan. So he was heavy Parliament Funkadelic, George Duke Stanley Clark. He was also like all the disco stuff, so like instant funk, got my mind made up. He was into those kind of records. So he was really, I think, where I got my sense of adventure from. I think my love of it definitely came from my mother and my family. And then my aunt Belinda, my aunt, she just loved music. She had records at her crib, and she would let me, whenever they would have parties at her house, whenever people come over, play spades or whatever, she would let me DJ the parties. and so she would essentially just sit me down in front of her records and her turntable, and I would just play records for the party. And that was how I learned, I think, how to read crowds, how to read people. Like I knew if I played something that wasn't right, I'd get a look. You know what I mean? Like I would kind of know. And I was a kid. I mean, I was probably like 6, 7 years old. So this is my first taste of, reading credits, learning, who the producer was, what a producer was, the people in the parentheses, those are the writers, like learning all of that stuff. This Rod Temperton guy, he shows up a lot. Who is he? You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So yeah, that was kind of my start, man. And I just always, just all throughout high school, all throughout school, I always collected music. I had a few records when I was a kid. I mean, I had records in high school, I had my uncle's records, but really when I was coming up, that was really kind of the CD era, you know what I mean? So I had my records, and then when it switched to tapes, I started collecting tapes. And then when it went to CDs, I was all in CDs. So I probably have way more. Well, I don't know about now, but at one point I know I definitely had way more CDs than vinyl. It may be kind of neck and neck now, but my CD collection was crazy for a minute. It was out of hand. I actually let go of a lot of stuff over the years, but still got crazy CDs. Still got my vinyl, And that was just kind of it, man. I mean, I really just started, I think, collecting, getting back into vinyl like about a year or so ago. I bought a turntable for for our label, FE Music, just to listen to our test presses and stuff. I was like, okay, I need a table for that. And I bought a table, and shouts to my man DJ Billy Bill. He was doing a record show in Raleigh, and he invited me out. This was like last fall, I want to say. And he was like, yo, just come out, man, come peep me. I'm like, okay. And I walked out of that record show with a stack full of records, and I never looked back. It's just been off to the races ever since. So that's more or less my journey in a nutshell with records. I also found out while doing the LB documentary, you mentioned documentarian. I found out during that shoot, while we were interviewing folks for that shoot, my grandparents actually met in a record store. Like,
Wild.
I had no idea. My grandmother, she used to work in a record store, and my granddad would come in there, to cop records from her, and that was how they met. So, I feel like it's been chasing me all my life, man. So I'm finally home.
That explains a lot. That explains a lot. I mean, it seems like you're born into this world of music and records. I mean, you obviously went on to be known as a frontman, as a rapper, as a singer, as a performer, but it kind of makes sense now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've been in this thing for a long time, man. A long time. For life, really.
Okay. Okay. So you explained these early stages, what you were around, what got you into records. Tell me about starting off as a rapper.
Man, starting off as a rapper, I think my first rhyme I wrote, I was like 8 years old. I wrote a rap. It was called the Knucklehead Rap. That was the name. That was the rap. Listen closely, don't take no crap. And this is called the Knucklehead Rap. That was my first rhyme. Yeah, I was in like third grade, I want to say, second grade, something like that. But anyway, and so, but yeah, that was like the first rhyme I kind of wrote. And I always had, before I had a desire to make music, I just wanted to play music. And so, you put me down in front of a record player, I would just play records like all day. That was all I wanted to do. And so, when I got older, hip hop comes into the picture, of course. And so that's when I kind of got the idea, okay, well, let me kind of start making my own stuff. I would freestyle with my homies, my guys I was always kind of the youngest of the crew. So all the homies I ran with, they were always older. And so I was always the youngest in the crew, but they would take me out and we would cipher, you know what I'm saying? And that was where I started like battle rhyming. We would go on the campus of A&T, because I was growing up in Greensboro. Shouts to my man Phonte. He would take me out with him, and we would go and rhyme in front of A&T and, start a cipher. And if you wasn't nice, you got booed. Like that, that was the rules, you know what I mean? So I'm like, shit, I gotta be nice. So just started going from battle rap, and then just kind of started making my own songs. My mother, she had a friend she worked with who, my man Tony Roper, shouts to him. He had some equipment. He had what did he have? He had I think it was a Tascam. It was a 4-track tape recorder, and it was the Roland MS1, I think. I can't remember. It was that Roland sampler. It was like a little gray thing. It had 8 pads on it, and you could use that to sample and make beats. And so he would let me use his equipment. And so I had, at my house at the time, I had a turntable from my uncle. I had my little stereo, like the little Iowa compact, the thing that used to go off back then. I had like my little compact stereo, but I had a turntable from my uncle. I had a realistic mixer from Radio Shack, which I have one in here. I'll grab it. It's not the one from back then, but I still got that realistic mixer. I have that one. And so I had that, and he would let me use his 4-track and the sampler, and that was how I would make tapes. I would make beats, and I would rhyme and just record on a 4-track. Like that was kind of how I learned piece together. By this time, I mean maybe like 15, you know what I'm saying? Like, 15, 16, somewhere around that time. And so I would just make tracks. And so that was kind of the beginning of just me making records and just learning kind of what I wanted my stuff to sound like. And then, by the time I got to college, I think by the time I got to college, like 98, 99, that was when I met Ninth and I met Crisis and my brother Eccentric, you know what I mean? All these dudes that was making amazing beats. And I was just like, yo, I ain't got to make beats no more ever. Like, I'm cool. Cause a lot of times the stuff I was making, a lot of times I was just making beats because I couldn't really find anyone to make the beats that I wanted to rhyme over. So I kind of had to do for self. But once I found dudes that was making the stuff I liked, I was like, well, shit, they can have it. You know what I mean? I can focus just on rhyming. So that was kind of how it went down.
I think it's a good choice for you. As a performer and a rapper, you definitely have those background and training as a kind of in a cipher. You can tell that from your both early rhymes and now. How did you develop yourself as a singer? Because that was something that surprised me as I observed your career.
Yeah. Man, so it was something that surprised me too, quite honestly. Yeah, man, singing was something I grew up living with my grandmother when I was a kid. It was me, my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, we lived together. And so my grandmother, she used to make us always go to church. Like that was just mandatory. You wasn't getting out of church no matter what. You know what I mean? So I always had to go to church. And so my thing in church was I was like, well, look, I don't really want to just sit here and listen to this dude talk. I got to do something. Let me sing. I'll sing in the choir. And so my grandmother, she would take me to choir practice and I would sing in the choir at church. And it was just something that was always just around me. I mean, it was singing in church. You know, my mother, she was a singer. She would sing around the house all the time. My grandfather, he was a singer. His favorite singer was Nat King Cole. So he was always playing Nat King Cole around the house and stuff. It was just always there. And it was just something we did, like for holidays, for Christmas, like it was always just us singing and dancing and making videos. It was just always that. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized that everybody didn't grow up like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just always around me. I just thought, okay, well, yeah, this is how it is everywhere. And my wife actually, she was like, no, babe, it's not like that at all. You know what I'm saying? Christmas at my house, at my family's house, and Christmas at her family house are two completely different things. So singing was just always kind of something I just did. It was something I never took seriously. I'll say it was just, I wanted to sound good and always do my best. But in terms of a singing career, that was never really on the radar. When Nick and I did Leave It All Behind in 2008, that was just something, those were songs that I had written, and I spent maybe a couple years before that trying my hand as a songwriter, trying to get songs placed. But I just kind of I was like, man, all the time you putting into writing the song, producing the song, laying the reference, doing all the backgrounds, I just put this shit out on me, you know what I mean? And I remember this was like, this was around like 04, 05. This was kind of early, but I remember going through that. And I just remember saying like, yo, man, a lot of these singer-songwriter dudes, they about to start putting their own shit out. And so shortly after that, that was when you started seeing the Neos and Sean Garrett's and Kerry Hilson, like the kind of songwriter turned artists, because I mean, shit, you doing the same amount of work, if not more. So, I tried a couple years for that. Nothing really stuck. Nothing really landed. And so by the time Leave It All Behind comes around, I was like, well, man, I really want to be a songwriter. Again, I'm trying to be the dude in the parentheses that gets paid forever. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I want to be a songwriter, but I think in order for me to be known as a songwriter, I'm going to have to sing my own songs. And so Leave It All Behind was, for me, is essentially just like a demo almost. It was just, it was like, I mean, not a demo in the sense that it was unfinished, but just, in my perfect world, how I saw it, all of them songs would have been sung by other people. You know what I mean? Like I had no desire to be the front dude, be the whatever. I just wanted to get my songs out. But God had other plans, man, and I'm thankful for it. So that was kind of how it started. It was very, very unexpected, for your first time singing and you get nominated for a Grammy. I mean, that was like, what? You know what I mean? Like that was like, what are you talking about? So yeah, that was how it went down, man.
I think it's good to pause on that because if you look over time, you explained your experience, but as someone just observing music, you went from being an extremely talented rapper known for your skills in the hip hop world, right? Little Brother, you had hip hop quotable multiple times. You're known as a really talented rapper with skills and flow, great music. And you're one of the first rappers to really hit notes and have that sophisticated songwriting. It didn't seem like a rapper singing. You seemed like a full blown vocalist with
Thank you, man.
complex arrangements, and it led to a whole wave. There's a few other rappers who could sing really well at the time. 50 Cent, great
Hmm.
rapper, great songwriter. And then you see Drake and Childish Gambino, where this is like a new world where there's no limit.
Hmm.
I think it's important to point that out, that you were one of the first in that movement.
Thank you, man. Absolutely. I mean, it was, I didn't think at the time. I mean, when you're just making music, you're not thinking, oh, this is gonna be groundbreaking and this, like, no, I'm just trying to finish the song.
Yeah.
And so
That's for me to point out. That's for me to
yeah,
point
no,
out.
no, I appreciate it, brother. I
Yeah.
accept it. Yeah, at the time, I was just making what felt good to me. And, I didn't really think of it, to hear other people, like when you talk about it from your perspective, from just the outsider perspective, that was a lesson I kind of had to learn. Just in that, to me, it's just all music. To me, it's not, well, this is rap or this is jazz or this is rock or this is whatever. It's just all music. Either it's funky or it's not. You know what I mean? And so when I came with Leave It All Behind, and a lot of people, oh man, well, so you're singing. Like, what is this? And I'm just like, well, dude, it's just music. You know what I mean? But the thing I had to understand was that, these are songs that have been in my head for years. I've been living with them for, however long, for years. The audience, this is their first time hearing this. Like, you know what I mean? So to them, it's like you went from this to just a 180, they don't really see kind of the evolution. So that was a big lesson I learned just through foreign exchange, is that sometimes you have to not give your audience time. You kind of got to give them breadcrumbs to lead them to what the next thing is, so got to give them a little onboarding, so to speak. So, so that was my lesson. That was one of the many lessons I learned just through my work with FE.
So for our audience, famously, foreign exchange came together over the internet. Nicolay was based in Netherlands. You guys connected on the OK Player forums, and history was made. Long story short. However, on the little brother side, which happened earlier, you guys met in college, went on to make music, went on to be quite popular pretty quickly, at least from the outside.
Nah, it was from the inside too. That shit was quick.
Yeah, I mean, you guys had the chemistry, went on for many, many years, so very successful group. But what was really unique, looking back, was your DIY mentality, your use of technology. You didn't record these in giant studios. You didn't start with a giant label, right? Tell me about that experience.
Man, so when we first started out with LB, it was early in the game, and it was just a weird kind of transitional point, I think, in the music industry where everything was starting to shift online, and tech was slowly making its way into the music industry and pretty much transforming it. And so when we first started, my first recordings, like I said, the first stuff I recorded on was like a 4-track tape recorder, and then eventually we bumped up. My man Tony, he had a digital recorder. It was a Roland. It was the VS 840 or 880 or something, but it was like a digital recorder. You had that. This is Jim's podcast. I feel like this is the place for me to nerd out on this kind of shit. Like if this
It
was,
is. It
yeah,
is.
if this was Hot Ones, I would not be mentioning none of this shit. But like, but I feel like I feel like I'm with my people, so I can geek out a little bit. But yeah, so I had a little digital joint. So I started with that, just with the Roland, and then from there it went on to recording on computers. And so when we started making records, we record in my man Leroy McDowell. Shouts to him, my man Sonny Urrell from Justice League. He had a computer in his dorm room, and Knife would run Cool Edit Pro on it, and he would, make his beats on Cool Edit, and we would track in Cool Edit. And that was the first time I saw. I was like, him all like this. Leroy, he was the first one. He was the first one I saw, doing it. And then, Knife was using it. Everybody in our crew, all the producers in our crew, they were pretty much making beats on a computer. And at the time, that was just kind of unheard of, and almost, it was like sacrilege almost. Like, they was like, what? You ain't got no MP? How you making your drums do this? You ain't got no pads? How you, they was on some hater shit. And, we were just like, look, man, the funk is the funk. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you nice on a laptop, on a computer, on an MP, whatever, you're like, we just want the funk. So, that was kind of how we started. So when we just made those first recordings and I started playing it for people who did work in real studios, and they were like, oh man, this is dope. Like, they couldn't really hear a difference. And so that was kind of the thing for me. I was like, oh, well, if people are fucking with this like this, then shit, we ain't gotta, you know what I mean? Nah, let's just keep rocking with what we got. It's working. And so that was just kind of that time. So, we make these records and we put them up on OK Player, and they spread like wildfire. We signed our first deal. And man, it was just a different time. I mean, this is a time pre-social media, pre it was almost I mean, this is even pre MySpace, right? So you have an audience, you have an audience, but we couldn't quantify it. Like, it wasn't like I could go to my OK Player page and say, I have 2,000 friends or I have 100,000 followers. Like, there was really no way to track it like that. And so, so it was kind of weird going into a major label and saying, hey, we have fans, but none of y'all can see them. You know what I mean? And, the game was changing right then. It was going to digital. So, moving to a major label system, they didn't really know what to do. I mean, we were all kind of figuring this shit out in real time. So, man, it was an exciting time, but I'm thankful so much that we did it ourselves, because it allowed me to learn the game from the ground up. And I'm a big proponent of, you can't skip steps in this game. You know what I'm saying? You can try to skip them, but that bill is going to come due soon. You know what I mean? It's going to come back around, you know what I mean? Because it's something you missed that you didn't learn, and, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. So I'm really thankful that I got a chance to learn the game from the ground up and was able to build the career I wanted for myself.
It's super innovative. In a way, I know it was a long time ago, but you guys took advantage of technology. You didn't depend on anyone. And just from reading your interviews, it seems like the more you depended on other factors like labels or anything, it was not as good as when you empowered yourself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's not. It's really not. I mean, particularly, if you're talking about Black music and Black art, and I tell artists this, Black artists this all the time. If you're going to a label, if you want to do with a bigger partner, it's that's up to you. It's no one size fits all. If you want to partner with a label or whatever, but you have to understand, they're not going to be able to sell to your audience better than you are able to sell to your audience. Like, they don't know. They have no fucking clue. You know what I mean? So if you're an artist partnering with them or whoever, understand you're still going to be doing the work. The work is yours. Like, these motherfuckers have no clue about our culture. Like, they don't know your audience. And I think that was something for us we just saw kind of early on. At least I saw, and I mentioned it in the doc. It's like, man, like, I've done a record on about every kind of label you can do it on, but we're still the engine that's driving this. You know what I mean? Like, we're still the ones that's having to come up with the marketing plan and the this and the that, because they don't know. You know what I mean? So, yeah, bro, that was very eye-opening, but very, very revealing and freeing in the process, because it taught us that no one was going to work as hard for you as you're going to work for yourself. And that's just something I continue to live by to this day.
That mentality that you had over the years, I think it opened up the doors to a lot of other artists. The world today is totally different than it was 25 years ago. And you're better off empowering yourself like you guys did And it's a good example for new artists today. There's going to be another little brother, another Fonte down the road where they can learn from you guys.
Absolutely, man.
You as an artist had accomplished a lot at that time. How did it feel thinking of where you came from?
Man, crazy. It's still kind of surreal, you know what I mean? To think that like one of the kind of my peers, like I'm in a group chat, me and Pooh are in a group chat with Pos from De La, right? And it's nothing crazy. Like we'll just pop in and just catch up here and there. But we're in the group chat with him, and me and Pooh will still jump out of that chat, and I just hit him on the side like, dog, do you realize we're in a fucking chat with Plug One, dog? Do you understand? You know what I mean? Like we still have those kind of geek out moments, and so yeah, I think the biggest surprise and the feeling of it, that if I had to sum it up in one word, more than anything else, man, it's just gratitude. You know what I'm saying? It's just gratitude to be able to say these were people that I grew up listening to, and now we have a connection. Like I'm able to reach out to these brothers, have conversations, and they school me on stuff, and we share, we have that exchange. Man, that's something that no platinum plaque, no statue, no nothing, like you can't put a price tag on that, man. I mean, that's priceless. That's what we do this for. And so yeah, I think, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, it's just gratitude, man. I still, I wake up every day feeling like the luckiest dude in the world, and just, I give God thanks every day just for the life here we've been able to have and we've been able to create. And yeah, I'm just thankful and just gracious, bro.
I think it's very humble of you, very gracious of you. I want to salute you because you went from a music person as a child to having this success in like totally different forms of success and still appreciate it. You're not in your head about it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, in the music business, listen, man, I tell anybody how they say like New York is, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. The music business is the New York of industry. Like if you can make it in this shit, you can do anything, dog, because there's no barrier to entry. There's no test you got to take to get in. There's no like background check. Ain't none of that shit. Like you just show up, and if you can get the job done, okay, you're in. Like it accepts all kinds, and you have to learn how to navigate all kinds of people, good and bad, scammers, like all kinds of shit. So doing this job, like being independent, being an entrepreneur in the music business for over 20 years at this point, it prepares you for anything. Like, it's just the wild, wild west, dog. It's the fucking jungle, straight up.
No, it's true because you called yourself an entrepreneur. You are, right? I mean, you're an artist and an entrepreneur. You're super talented, but that's not enough. There's so many
Nah,
people who are talented. It doesn't lead to a 25-year career.
nah, man, it doesn't. And I think that's something that I saw, the longer I stayed in business, more years I kind of got behind me, I started to understand, because when you're young, I would hear music and it's like, oh my God, this person is amazing. Why didn't they go any further or whatever? And then you kind of start to meet the people and it's like, okay, I understand why this did. You know what I mean? Like, I get why this person, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even on something negative, but just, everything is not for everyone. And, your path is your path as an artist. And whether you see an artist flop or whether you see them sell 1 million records, there are a million factors that factor into why that person was successful or wasn't. And the least of which is their talent. You know what I mean? Like I tell music industry all the time, yo, this is the music industry. Like no talent required. I mean, if you got it, it's cool, but it's not a necessity. You know what I mean? This shit ain't a requirement. So, you know what I mean? So yeah, bro, that's just the game. But I've learned a lot just over the years. I'll leave it at that. I've learned a lot.
I think the fact that you're embracing different phases with positivity, you're bringing new energy, that's what's keeping you going. That's what's keeping you so successful in
Thank you.
completely different ways. Like if you were to tell me when I first heard you rap with Lil Brother and I was like, wow, this guy's in the Source. They got 4.5 mics. They're really good rappers. Your career path since then is wildly different from that.
Man, if you would have told me that back then, I wouldn't have believed it. Yeah, I was having a conversation a couple days ago with my man Rich Medina. Shouts to him. Shouts big bro Rich Medina, man. He and we were just having a conversation. He was talking about D Nice, because him and D Nice, like that's they came up, and he was like, man, think about D Nice. He was like, bro, it's people now who strictly know him as Club Quarantine. They have no idea about BDP, the TR-808, Call Me D Nice, Crumbs on the Table. Like they have no idea those things, even existed. And so, yeah, I think now for me, it really resonated. And Pooh and I talk about this a lot of how, what we've done over the last 20 years, that could still just be the beginning. You know what I'm saying? That could still just be, whatever the next phase of your life, your career is. There are people who only know you for that. I think about Ice Cube. Like, I knew Ice Cube as NWA. Like, my kids, are we there yet? Like, that's all they know. You know what I mean? Like, they had no clue. Fuck the police, none of that. They was like, look, Cube, when we met you, you was somebody daddy, cuz, like, we ain't, you know what I mean? So, man, so it's just, I think that's really humbling and exciting to think of all the work you put in, that it could still just be the beginning. You know what I mean? And, yeah, that's something that I embrace.
That's so important. That's so important for me, for you, for people listening, because you don't know what the next phase is going to be. Your peak could be way in the future, and you just got to keep positive, keep rolling, keep reinventing. That's what I want to do. That's what I try and keep that energy around me. And with Ice Cube, one of the best examples, Ice Cube, Will Smith. I remember as a kid hearing NWA, I thought they're amazing. Also, probably pretty tough dudes.
Right, right,
Right.
right.
And I was like, okay. Then he starts doing these movies and other things. And as a child, I'm looking at this like, well, that's not the same as NWA. And as an adult, I'm like, no, he's supposed to change. He's not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be the same guy who was rapping when he was 18, 19 years old from Compton. He's supposed to evolve. And he's one of the best examples of how you can grow in this world.
Nah, man. Yeah, Cube. I mean, Cube, Queen Latifah. Of course, Will. Yeah, man. We always kind of LL. I mean, shit. LL is, I mean, God, what can we say? So nah, we have these examples of artists that are able to grow and change and do things. And my thing is that it just always has to be. It just has always to come from you. It has to be something that is a creative spirit that drives it. I remember in the Tribe documentary, Ali Shaheed, he was talking about just how, it can be hard for people to understand. It's like, listen, the same creative spirit that drove this is also driving that. But they just know what they know. They just Tribe Called Quest. That's all they know. You know what I mean? So, but it's like, no, that is still going through this, So, yeah, I've always just tried to, in the things that I do, just try to make sure that spirit comes through and people understand that this, whether it's Sesame Street, if it's Sherman Showcase, if it's no matter what it is, it's still authentic and it's still me.
Let's talk about that. You have gone into the world of TV and film production, acting, performing many roles. Tell me
Yeah.
about how you got into that.
Man, so well, I go back. My first movie role, crazy. My first movie role, and I've told the story before. My uncle, he was working at my Uncle Mike, God rest his soul. He was working at a community college in Anson County. This is this is like 1985. This is legit like 40 years ago. Crazy. So he was working, he was working at a community college uh at Anson County, and they were having auditions for a movie down there. And so he called my mother and was like, hey, they having this audition for this movie down here. The name of the movie, the working title of the movie at the time was called Moon Song. It was called Moon Song. And so they're having auditions for this movie. Y'all come down here. Y'all should come audition. So we came down the next day, and it's during the middle of summer. It's hot as hell. I audition, you know what I mean? And, a couple weeks go by. We come back. My mother gets a call. We walk into my grandmother's house. My mom gets a call. Yo, and I don't hear what's on the other line, but I just hear her screaming. I just hear my mother like scream, like, what happened? And I know it's not a bad screen, like somebody died. I'm like, what is going on? And so she came out and she said, they chose you to be an extra in The Color Purple. And so that was, Moonsong, that was the movie. So yeah, it was the Steven Spielberg Color Purple. So yeah, I was 6 years old. I was getting ready to go to first grade, and I was the extra in The Color Purple. And that was like my first time being on a set. Um, I was a kid, so I didn't really have an idea of what was going on. But it wasn't until the movie came out and I saw it. My mother took me to the movies to see it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it. This thing that we spent 3 hours doing is now 30 seconds." You know what I mean? Like that was all that was. So I'm like, "Okay, I get it." But yeah, that was my first time doing it, man. And
Can I pause you? How did that feel seeing that in the theater? That award-winning film.
man, I think at that time it still hadn't said it. I mean, I'm 6, 7 years old, so I think at that time I was just happy to just be going to the movies with my mom and be getting out of school. Like that was two movies my mother she took me out of school to see. I'd never forget. She snuck me out of school to see The Color Purple, and she took me out to see Purple Rain. Those are the two my mother like.
Good
Yeah,
taste, Mom.
mom, yeah, she took me out of school. I'm like, hey, I'm cool. Like, so I just wanted to go to the movies with my mom. That was all I cared about. But yeah, I don't think I really understood it. I was just like, oh man, okay, but it was wild to see it go from this thing here to now this. But I don't think I really understood the gravity of what it was. I mean, I was a kid. So yeah, man. So I just kind of did that. I did, some acting like in high school. I did like a little theater here, just, drama class, stuff like that. Nothing crazy, nothing too major. But around the time this is I'm trying to think my first kind of TV stuff. This may have been 2014, 15. Uh my man Dan Charnas, who is also an alumni of the Gems podcast. Shout
Shout out
shout
Dan. Yeah.
Man, shout out to my brother Dan, the almighty rabbi, Dan Charnas. Uh, shouts to him, man. Nah, he hit me and he had written a book called The Big Payback, which was just amazing, and they had a deal for the show called The Breaks. VH1 was going to do it, and he hit me and they asked me to write all the rhymes for the actors on the show. And so that was just a time where I was like, okay, I kind of get to play different characters because I'm having to write for different people. And that was super fun. And the cherry on top was you get to work, I think this is how Dan's really similar. He was like, yeah, and you get to work with Primo because Primo's doing the music. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Sign me up, dude. Like, what are we talking about? I'm there. Like, what are we, come on. And so, yeah, man. So me and Preem got to work on music for this show we worked on. It was like a year or two because we did the movie, the kind of movie, and then we did like the season. So it was about like 2 years. But yeah, man, I just started with that. And I think, and I've mentioned this before in other interviews, but I really credit working in music for TV is just really helping me to develop as a songwriter and just as an artist because you learn not to take things very personal. As when I was young, I would take rejection really personally, you know what I'm saying? And it would really hurt me. And I'm like, what is it? But working in TV, it's just like they's like, hey, we need a song for this scene. You do a song, send it. Nah, that don't work. We need another song. Okay, cool. Just do another song. And oh, that cool. That works. Cool. Great. Like it just you take your feelings out of it. It's like, look, I just need something that just works. And that was just training that just made me just so much sharper. So did the breaks 2015, 20, I think 16. That was when 17. That was when Sherman Showcase, my man, yet another Gems alumni, my
Yeah.
brother Diallo Riddle.
The
Shouts.
best. The best.
Yeah, man. Shouts to my brothers Diallo and Bashir, the whole Saladin clan, everybody, you know what I'm saying? My family over there at Sherman Showcase, man. Those brothers just really opened up the door and was like, hey, we're doing the show. You want you to do music for it, you know what I mean? So, I hit my brother Zoe, shouts to him, my FE Music family. And they would give us carte blanche to do just these ridiculous songs, like Drop It Low for Jesus and Like, just, I mean, we did so many of these damn songs. Like, but it was just us just kind of bugging out and doing us. And so did that. I think after that or around the same time, it's kind of blurring together. My guy Bill Sherman that I did was doing QLS with. Shouts to my brother Bill Sherman. He is the music guy over Sesame Street. And so I played a song for him. It was actually a song that I did with Zoe, a song we did called Count to Five. And I played it for him, and I was like, yo, man, like, I like, yo, I like to do some Sesame Street stuff. And he was like, man, y'all did this? He's like, this is dope. It's like a song, Count to Five, and it's in 5. Oh, this is cool. You want to write some songs? I was like, hell yeah. So he just started sending me stuff. All right, here's a Cookie Monster song, and here's a song for Elmo, and here's a rap battle with this. Like, he was just sending me joints. And that was how it started, man. And we did the last one we did was for SZA. Just this past year, we did a record for her called "Be Kind to Me, Be Kind to You." It was a gratitude record. And you know, man, again, just sharpening the sword, man. Just writing for children, it sharpens you in a different way because you have to be simple. Like, you gotta be simple, and like simplicity and it's really hard. It's crazy as it sounds, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, just making it simple so that, you know, a 3-4-year-old can get it. I mean, that's kind of where the magic is. So that was kind of how my TV stuff started and going. And I mean, I've done, you know, voiceover stuff. I've done I've done a lot of work. I've done like stuff for cartoons. I've done voices for cartoons and stuff. God, yeah, it's Strange Planet. It's shown on Apple. I've done voices for that. Yeah, I've done like a lot of work, man. But it all started with just music.
I think the common thread between all of this is you're not afraid to learn. You're doing completely different things. I give a lot of credit to your family background. They cultivated a lot of different skills as a performer, as a writer, rapper, singer, appreciator of art and music. And now you're doing all kinds of things that no one could have predicted. But I give you credit because you are taking these risks, you're trying new things, and it's working out. I mean, keep going.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying, you know, it's, you know, you're not afraid to learn, because that's more than anything else, you know, before, you know, being an artist or a rapper or, you know, singer or whatever, I'm a student. You know what I'm saying? More than anything else, I'm forever just a student of the game, a student of the arts, a student of music. And yeah, just kind of just a sponge, you know what I mean? So in all of those new fields that I would do, if it was music for TV or voiceover or whatever, I went into it with the mentality that your background and your name in music means nothing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're reading for a voiceover role, I'm Fonte of Little Brother Phonte and Shom. We don't care. Like, either your voice works or it don't, you know what I mean? And having to start over and kind of rebuild your career in that way. Again, just sharpening the blade even more, and just was a new challenge. And you know, I welcome those, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to have the opportunity to sharpen myself in that way.
It's good for other people to observe too, for myself and for our audience. Keep rolling. I think that's the message. Like, embrace new opportunities, take a risk. New phases is something that I always am fascinated with, and I think it's good for people to hear. It keeps people going for what's next.
Yeah, it keeps you sharp, man. It keeps your brain developing, keeps you working, just keeps those synapses firing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, agreed. So I told you before we started, this would not be your average interview. I have skipped over giant parts of your career, and I don't want to do them a disservice.
all right, okay.
You've accomplished a lot, and I'll just say, even when I was looking through all the stuff you've done, I was reminding myself of like all kinds of things I forgot about. So full credit to you. And also, you've done 1,000 interviews. So I figure let's take our discussion somewhere else.
Hey, listen, right? I'm here for it, man. Let's go.
All right. So everyone's favorite part of this show, it's a segment called Drop a Gem on Them. We'll play a word association game. You tell me what comes to mind. It can be a feeling, personal experience, a story, an anecdote, really anything. Some of these are your songs. Some of them are completely unrelated, but I have a feeling you like them.
Okay.
And FYI, I'm not gonna play the song. A lot of people get confused with that. You can't play songs on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I
Okay.
got you. I got you.
Surprise, Sweet Love.
Ah,
It's a show about beat digging.
it is a show about beat digging, man. Listen, okay. Surprise, Sweet Love. Shouts to my man DJ Why Not, my man 50 grand, Tony Garcia. He's down in Lucky Records in Miami in Wynwood. Big shouts to him. Me and that brother go back 20 years, man. Saw that record in his shop, sealed, and I was like, yeah, run that. I gotta have it. Yeah, man, Surprise Sweet Love. It's a big drum sample. I won't see if you know, you know. You know, I'm sure the people that's watching this know I ain't sample snitching out here, but yeah, it's a big drum break in it. And yeah, that was my first time really hearing that album. I actually played the record like a couple of weeks ago when I got home. And yeah, I mean, that record is like, it has moments. There's another song on side too. I think it's the Keep on Trucking joint. That joint gets pretty funky kind of at the end. But yeah, man, going through those records, I have to say, and I'll just kind of preface by saying, I know this is the beat digging podcast. The thing I learned, like once I got back into really like buying records and like really getting back into it, I'm not so much a beat digger, I'm a song digger. Like, give me some jams, cause like the fact that like I don't care, like, and I had to learn, cause talking about producer homies, like the way they shop for records and the way I shop is very different. Like they looking for breaks and yo, this is the break that so and so used for this, and this is, man, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Is that shit jamming? Like, yeah, that's the break, but that's like 4 seconds. The rest of that song is ass, dog. I can't do shit with this. Like, the fuck, man. So, but yeah, so Surprise was what it was. I saw it and it was sealed. I think that was what did it. It was sealed. I was like, okay, I don't know. We don't ever come across a sealed version of this. Like, run it. So yeah, Surprise, Sweet Love. That is yeah, for those who know, if you can, I mean, you can pull the song up on YouTube, and soon as you hear the opening break, you will know exactly where it's from if you know your hip hop. Yeah, like you know what it is.
All time, one of the world's baddest break beats. Shout out Lucky Records Miami, DJ Why Not. Actually, that's what made me want to interview you.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I was with Tony, DJ Why Not in Toronto, Canada. There's a record convention called Cratery Con.
Cratery Con, yeah.
Right? It's all beat digging. And a friend of mine put it on. Actually, a guy who was also on ABB around the same time.
You talking about, I know exactly, you talking about Toronto. You talking about RC.
Right.
Was it?
Right.
Yes,
right. We're the same cultural background. I've known him my whole life.
Shouts to RC, man. Yeah, it's Stripes record. That shit was cold.
Yeah, he's dope. So I was like just getting to know Tony. We're talking, and he's got his booth, and I'm going through his shit. I was like, man, you have Surprise sealed, crazy. And he never ended up selling it, but we just became friendly and nerding out on records. Obviously, he's a record dealer, so he definitely knows his stuff.
Knows. Right.
And he's a good guy to talk to.
Yeah, man. Tony is solid people, man. That's my guy. So big ups to him.
I'll give you like a funny story, right? So when I was maybe, I don't know, 11 years old, so a child basically, I went to a Roots concert.
Okay.
And it was outside in Toronto. It was amazing. I was maybe like grade 7 or grade 8.
Okay.
And I was a big fan of the Roots. And, when you're a kid, you just like fixate on stuff. Like I have like 5 CDs. You're just like looking at them, right? And reading everything about them. And I was such a fan of Black Thought and all the rappers on that album. And then there was like a meet and greet. So, I'm a kid. So I go to meet Black Thought. I was like, oh, this is one of my favorite rappers. And I asked him like such a nerd question. I was like, hey, what's the Fifth Dynasty? Like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just like something he said in his rhymes. Like, I don't even like, he's like, that's my rap group. And then I walked away. And looking back, I was like, what kind of a question is that? And also, why am I, I don't know who goes to these meet and greets now, but it just seemed like a weird thing. But he was such a nice guy. He's like a 20-something-year-old guy talking to a child. So, I mean,
right,
it's a memory.
That's my first. I didn't know who the Fifth Dynasty was. Like, that's you answered that question for me. I had no idea who they was.
I guess it was his I mean, there's so many rappers that they had with them, so I guess that was their crew name at some point.
Oh yeah.
All right. Black Moon, I Got You Open remix.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Black Moon, I Got You Open remix. Yeah, classic break, classic sample. So yeah, so fun fact. So my first one of my first demos I put up on my IG page, but that was a beat that me and my boys used to freestyle over. The Barry White is Barry White Playing Your Game. And so my thing was I never had the Black Moon I Got You Open single. I had Into the Stage, I had the album, but I never had the single, with the remix. What I did have was Mega Bonton Soundboy Burial Salam Remy remix.
Crazy.
It was the same thing. It was the same loop. And I had that
Wow.
tape. It was the same. Yeah, it's Soundboy Burial. I think Salam remixed that one. I don't want to. I think I don't want to. I know he did the Worker Man remix with Patra. I can't remember if he did that one. I don't want to misquote it. But anyway, Mega Bonton Soundboy, Soundboy Burial, Soundboy Killing. It was that tape. And so it's basically him just, chanting over Playing Your Game. But then on the other side of the tape, it's the instrumental, which is just straight Playing Your Game, just wide open. So me and my boys was like, oh shit. So that was that was the joint we would freestyle over. So yeah, man. Yeah, Playing Your Game, I feel like that's we talk about some of the building blocks just of him seeing, if you was coming up in my era, like you had a crispy 16 to Playing Your Game, baby. Like that was a rite of passage.
Yeah, I liked hearing that on your page. I liked hearing you rap. I mean, it's like you're hearing a teenager. I mean, you were a teenager.
Yeah.
I think that what you described of having the album was a great album, but this remix, it's almost like he discovered a new flow. And then there's
Mm-hmm.
also Buck 'Em Down remix where he's
Mm-hmm.
kind of singing and rapping. And these remixes were amazing. I believe in one of the videos it came in for a bit. And so it was so fucking dope and such a great vibe they were on. And those two remixes, I think they're important. I think they influence a lot of rappers too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It influenced me. I mean, I just saw them brothers on the Rock the Bells cruise, man. Buck, Steel, at Tech, he was out there like just yeah, man. The love that we have for boot camp is well, documented. But nah, man, those brothers, I mean, listen, they raised us, you know what I mean? So yeah, much love to boot camp, man.
Yeah. Great time, great era, great artists. I really enjoyed their music and it just influenced so many people.
Oh yeah, and shout out to Evil D too. I can't forget him. Evil D is on the mix. Come on, kick it. Saw him out there. He was on Rock the Bells too.
Excellent. Excellent. I think they influenced a whole generation of beat diggers too, their production, right?
Absolutely.
Great music. All right, I'm going to take it in a bit of a different direction. P Rhyme, Royce the 5'9", and DJ Premier's project, Highs and Lows, featuring Doom and Fonte.
Highs and Lows. That was a record that Preem was working on, and I feel like, matter of fact, this was around the same time we were working on The Breaks, if I'm not mistaken. But so I was up there and we were at his studio, and Preem was like, yo, I got this record, I'm working, I got Royce, I got Doom, you know what I'm saying? And then Doom, you know what I'm saying? He do his verse and then Royce come back and then Doom. Like he's just telling me about this. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all right, this is dope. But I hadn't heard it yet. So a couple weeks later, Royce, his fans like, yo, man, like we want you to get on it. And I'm like, shit, okay. We want you to do the hook, re-sing the hook and add a verse. And I was like, all right, bet. Like, I mean, this is Primo, Royce, and Doom. What are you talking about? Like, bruh, come on. Like, send it. So he sent it, man. I did the hook and did it back. And particularly, I remember in that verse, I remember Doom, God rest his soul. He ended his verse in like this weird place. It was like, God, what was his last line? It was, uh, We never leave the beat blank. That was like his last little couplet. They feet stink, they never leave the beat blank, and then it just ended. And I'm like, oh shit, where the fuck do I go from here? So because it wasn't just like okay, I do 16 and then you come in. Like it ended on like 11 or 12. It just ended on like an odd spot. And so I just remember having to pick up after that and come in. And that was a nice little challenge. And man, that record, that was just something that again, just gratitude, just honor, just to be called on again by brothers that I grew up listening to. I mean, of course, Doom was Doom, but we knew him from Zev Love X, KMD, all of that. And so just to be on a record with those dudes, to be called, yeah, man, it was just an honor and a privilege. And I'm thankful we got a chance to do it, especially, with Doom, not being here anymore. That was definitely bucket list for me.
Yeah, I think it's an impressive accomplishment. When I think about your album with Lil Brother, The Minstrel Show, great album.
Thank you, man.
I believe, was it your second album?
That was the second one, yeah. Listening was first in 03, then and then Minstrel Show was 05.
Okay. KMD's second album was called Black Bastards.
Black Bastards, yeah.
Right? And I mean, Black Bastards had some trouble coming out.
A lot of trouble.
Right? Minstrel Show, I think you guys also had some trouble with the promotion.
Had trouble. It came out, but we did have trouble. We had trouble.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting link between generations. I think it's crazy that, I mean, your album came out probably maybe 8-10 years later, and rap was in a very different stage than when KMD existed, but you still had the same trouble.
Same trouble, because we were seeing the same things. We were seeing the same things in the industry and kind of what it was becoming. And, so yeah, I think it was definitely on point. We saw a lot of the same things.
MF Doom, Doomsday, you rapped over Kiss of Life by Sade.
Man, listen, I love that record. MF Doom, just Operation Doomsday, man. Like that album, I mean, it was pretty. And I've told, Bobbito this, shouts to Bobbito. We've interviewed him before, and I just, peanut butter, applesauce, buttery biscuits, and I get lost. Yes. Like, I mean, that shit was, it was just it felt so good to hear a record, a hip hop record, and you could just hear the joy in it. It was a record that just sounded like freedom. You know what I'm saying? Freedom and chaos at the same time. Cause it's like, hold up, you just gonna rap over this part of 100 weight? Like what? You know what I mean? We had Greg Filling Games on Cure Less like a while back, and we played Rhymes Like Dimes for him, and he was like, what? Like he couldn't believe it, in a good way. He was like, what? He's like, what? You know what I mean? But he was, he thought it was, he was like, yo, MF Doom is a crazy person. Like, what is this? What are you talking about? This is just a solo I played like 3 a.m, like just one take. Like, what do you mean? But that's what made it genius. So yeah, with the Doomsday joint, yeah, with Kiss of Life, with that joint, man, that was something that, crazy enough, a couple of my homies had looped up Kiss of Life when we was in high school and rhymed over. So, I didn't rhyme on it, but a couple of homies did. And so when I heard that record, the Doom record, it was kind of validation. It was like, yeah, we was on to something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he did it, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, that record will always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I think it's a good link. I mean, you're a great artist. I like the link to this other great artist, even though you're not the same. I just think it's a common thread.
Yeah, man.
About Rhymes Like Dimes, I liked how you described it as freedom, because it was a very loose record. He may have repeated a verse on that.
Yeah.
And I've loved it so much. It's one of my all-time favorite records. And I mean, Bobbito just looped it up and it worked. I mean, it's magic.
Yeah. And it was also too, like at that time, I was just like listening to the sample choices he was making. I'm like, bro, you looping up, damn, Quincy Jones and fucking, you know what I mean? Like You know what I mean? Like it was just a totally, it just totally just threw out the rule book of sampling of that, you know, oh, we got to dig and this is the obscure stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean, we'll give you some of that, but I mean, Love Deluxe was like what like 3-time platinum album. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, so hearing him over Kiss Alive, it was just like, yo, they really like they don't care. Like they like whatever. And yeah, just that freedom, just that kind of fuck it. You know what I mean? That was something that certainly was inspiration for us.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love how you described it. All right, let's go on with Sade. Couldn't love you more.
Oh man, Sade, couldn't love you more. Man, my favorite record store that I used to shop at in Greensboro when I was coming up, it was the Record Exchange. It was a store. It was on Battleground Avenue. It's no longer there, as many record stores are not, but that was my favorite store to go to. And so I remember walking in the store one day, and the only song I had heard up until that point from Love Deluxe was No Ordinary Love. Like that song, like, I mean, that record was everywhere. Like that was, you know, you couldn't kind of escape that. So I heard No Ordinary Love, and No Ordinary Love, I heard, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, all right, it's Sade, she's back. You know what I mean? But I walked in the store that day, and I wasn't even going looking for Sade. I was just going to get whatever, you know, whatever hip hop was out or whatever. And my man behind the counter who worked, I cannot remember his name. I could see his face clear as day. He was a brother, light skinned cat. He was playing I Couldn't Love You More. That was the song in the store that was playing. And I just remember thinking like, oh my God. Like I had never really heard her in that way before. It was, I mean, you had the 808 drums, but then you had just this really sparse and open arrangement. Like it was, you know, it was kind of eerie. It's just like she's just kind of floating above this bed, and it's, I was like, man, like it literally stopped me in my tracks. I was like, man, I ain't never heard her come like this before. Like this is hard. And that was the album that sold me on Love Deluxe. Like I bought Love Deluxe. You know what I mean? And yeah, I Couldn't Love You More. That's still probably my, if I had to just, you know, gun to the head, pick one, depending on the day, either that or Kiss of Life is my favorite Sade songs, strangely enough. But nah, man, I Couldn't Love You More. That's the one for me. I love that song. We covered it, Nick and we covered it last year. Yeah, man, that's just, I mean, that's just one of them ones, bro. Very simple, very simple, but you know, very elegant and beautiful. And one of the things I always appreciated about Sade is that I read an interview with the band. This was some years back, and I think it was either Stuart Matthewman or Andrew Hill. I can't remember which one, but they were talking about, they were just like, I'm paraphrasing. He was like, look, you know, we're not just virtuosic musicians. Like it's not just solos all over everywhere and just crazy technical chops. You know, we just know our lane and we play in that lane. And that was something that always resonated with me in their music. They were a band, they really played to their strengths, you know, and yeah, man. So yeah, I Couldn't Love You More. That's just, yeah, that's top two, and it ain't number two. Sade for me. Straight up.
You're so humble. Your foreign exchange remake, really great. I mean, you took it somewhere else. I want to give you a lot of credit. You celebrated a song and you made it different. I think it's a really great job you did there.
Thank you, man. Yeah, me and Nick, we really, the kind of inspiration was just dub, like just very, you know, really dubby, kind of spacey, you know, because my thing is, if you're gonna remake a song, you know, you have to make it yours in some way or put some kind of spin on it to make it unique. And so dub just felt like a natural extension of what the song already was. So I was like, well, man, let's just lean into that and make it kind of dubby and spacey and atmospheric and just kind of do that. So yeah, Sade, man.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you.
Sweetback, You Will Rise. This is the one featuring Amel Lauria.
I know it very well. I know it very well. Oh my God. Sweetback, man. Listen. So Sweetback, and this is yet another record exchange story. I'm walking into the record exchange in Greensboro, and I had seen I'd seen an advert for it. I can't remember if I saw it in Vibe magazine. I feel like it would have been in Vibe. It damn sure wasn't in the source. I feel like it was in Vibe. But I saw a ad for it, or I read something about it in, I feel like it was Vibe. And I saw it was the three guys from Sade. I was like, they kind of doing their own thing. I was like, okay, you know what I mean? All right, this okay. And so I went to Record Exchange, and I feel like I might have called them before, and I was like, yo, y'all got like the Sweetback album, you know what I mean? And he was like, yep, we got it. We got one copy. I said, man, hold that shit. I'm on my way. Fun fact, another album I called, true story, I was like, yo, I need this. They only had one copy, Ready to Die. No bullshit, bro. I bullshit. Like, they had one tape copy of Ready to Die, and I was like, give me that shit. This is before Big Pop, like before it blew up. Like, this was, I was like, give me it. But so yeah, man. So Record Exchange was always my spot. So anyway, so Sweetback, I go and I bought the CD. It was not one of the first CDs I had, but it was, by this time my taste, it kind of started shifting. I was buying more CDs than tapes at that time. And man, I just remember coming home, putting that record in my CD player, and yeah, bro, top to bottom, like top to bottom, front to back. That was my homework album. That was my study album. That was just my chill album. I mean, all the way all through college, that was just, even now, like, that's just my smoke and chill record. I mean, that record has been in my life for almost 30 years, and it has never failed me. It has been with me through all seasons of my life. So yeah, so You Will Rise with Amel, that was definitely a highlight. For me on that album, the real smoke is in the last three songs, The Chord, Come Dubbing, and Walk of Jew, or Cloud People. No, Cloud People, Come Dubbing, and Powder. That's it. That's the third, Powder. Those last three songs on that album, undefeated, like undefeated, bro. So yeah, man, Sweetback, that's my one. And they actually made a second album. It didn't go off like that. Like, it caught a lot of flack, but there were some good songs on that second one too. They were working with your girl Aya from Naked Music. She was on a couple of them records, but yeah, Sweetback first album, classic for me. Yeah, essential listening.
Yeah, you reminded me to kind of bring that back. It was a great album, and you know, it had Amel on it, it had Maxwell on it.
Maxwell, yeah, Leroy Osborne, his cover of Hope Should Be Happier, he smoked that. That was actually the first time I heard Hope She'll Be Happier. I heard his version first before I heard the Bill Withers version. So
I only know the Sweetback one. Maybe I'll go back. Now you're
oh
reminding me to
man,
learn new things.
yeah, bro. Now the Bill version is fucking cold. Like, it's
Okay.
just, it's super sparse. It's just him and the guitar. Like, that shit is haunting. But yeah, that Sweetback album is forever undefeated for me.
I mean, that group, Stuart Matthewman, everything that they did with Sade, they have the perfect touch, right? Like, they know how to keep it empty. It's dub influence, but not obviously, right? It's more in the feel, and something about the way the drums and the bass go together, the groove they have, it's just very hard to replicate. They have that touch.
Nah, straight up and down.
Les McCann, Vallarta.
Man, y'all going, oh man, you went there on me. Okay. True story. This is like my junior year of high school, and I have the Les McCann Music Lets Me Be Me album, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm just kind of going through the record. This was like a record from my uncle's like crib or whatever. And so I'm just kind of going through it, and I come on Vallarta, you know what I'm saying? Which, if you know that album, Vallarta is by far the highlight of the album. You know what I mean? Like, it's the best song on the record. And so I play it, hit it, and I'm like, yo, this is dope. But I didn't know what to do with it. I'm like, yo, this is dope, but like, I don't know, do I loop it? Do I whatever? And I was still just kind of getting new into beat making. I'm like, what do I do with this? I have no idea. Love the song, but I have no idea what to do with it. So I ended up talking over it for like an interlude or something with my homies, just on some silly shit. So fast forward a year later, my senior year, I'm in my I'm in the parking lot. My man, my man Angus, he was out. Shouts to him. He probably don't even remember this. He was like, you know, he had his whip and stuff. So he's playing he's playing Life After Death, because this is when Life After Death it came out. He's playing Life After Death, and 10 Crack Commandments come on. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is the 10 Crack Command. Yo, if I could have strangled Premier by his neck, I'm like, you dirty fucking dog. You dirty dog. Like, oh my God. Like, so simple and so genius, so brilliant. Like, just taking just those first notes and just keep cutting it back. I'm like, oh my God. Like, so yeah, but a lot about Les McCann, that is that was a lesson for me. Just, man, don't overthink it. Like, don't overthink it. If God sends you a loop, just take the loop. You know what I mean? Or make a loop, whatever, you know what I mean? But hearing what Preem did to that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me, because it was so simple but so funky. And yeah, man, that's one of the ones for me. I still have that record. I got that up here. That Les McCann record. I still got that one.
I love that story. One of the greatest rappers of all time, one of the greatest producers of all time at their peak. I mean, that's a hell of a song. Every word is perfect. It's unbelievable. And it's magic. It's what you call magic. You cannot
Nah, it really
recreate that
was,
kind of
man.
thing. Yeah.
It's for real.
All right, let's take it another direction. For our audience, we just had a quick location change. Phonte switched from one room to the other. I think we're back up and running, right, brother?
We back up and running, G. We in the studio now. I was telling you, this is gym, so I wanted to do it from my record room, but I think my laptop started cricking out. It is Mercury and Gatorade, so I had to come here back in my studio. But yeah, brother, we rolling, man. It's cool.
All good, all good. I mean,
Appreciate your patience, man.
yeah, of course. Being in the studio is a good thing. I feel like a lot of good music has been made there.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
All right. Drake comeback season mixtape.
Yeah, man. Comeback season mixtape. That was this had to be every bit. This is like 07, I want to say, or so. My manager at the time, my guy, Big Doe. Shout out to my brother Big Doe, man. He just got an inquiry and hit me. It was like, hey man, it's this kid on this Degrassi show that wants to do a record with you. And my first reaction, I couldn't believe Degrassi was still on the air. I was like, okay, that's crazy. And so, but I heard the record, and it was Think Good Thoughts. It became Thinking Thoughts, but at the time it was just him rhyming over the beat. And so I heard him and I was like, yo, he's dope. You know what I mean? I was like, he's dope. Like, okay, I'll do it. So I just did the record and did that one. And then I think we did another one. I can't remember. It was Think Good Thoughts. It was another one. I can't remember, but we did two. But then, 09 or so, 08, that was when So Far Gone came, and he was so far gone. Like, he was out of here. So yeah, man, I mean, that was just early time. It was one of the first times I can remember just kind of seeing our influence spread, and like seeing like, oh wow, like the younger generation, they really been paying attention to what we've been doing. And so yeah, man, that was Sweet Love, Anita Baker. Man, that record was, if you grew up in any Black household in the 80s, that record was a staple. You could not escape it. The Rapture album, I still have a copy, of course. I have to have a copy of it. Love that record. So yeah, man, that was kind of the story how that came together. That was God, at this point, that's like 16 years, 18 years. That's a long time. Yeah, it's almost knocking on damn 20 years. That's crazy.
Time flies. When I first heard that song you guys did together, I thought it was pretty great. I thought it was a good song. I liked hearing both you guys together. And it was, for him, an early cosign of a popular rapper. I mean, who knew that he'd go on to be one of the most successful artists in the past 15 years? So it was a cool thing to see.
Yeah, man, it was a cool moment in time. I'm glad I could play my part.
Yeah. And in your recent documentary, Drake called you one of the greatest rappers of all time. So you got a fan in him.
Yeah, man, I'm thankful. I'm thankful, just for all the, the cats under us, like the dudes that came, after us, the Drakes and the Kendricks and, just Coles, all, that whole class, those guys, man, they kind of took what we started and just took it further, but carried that spirit on, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm just thankful to be in the number, as they say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All great artists, whether they're friends or not, but they're all great artists. All right. Jones Girls, Nights Over Egypt.
Man, the Jones Girls. The Jones Girls they're one of those groups that take me back like directly to my aunt's crib. That was one of her favorite groups. She was a big Philly International fan. So, I could just remember having her albums, having having Jones Girls albums at her house. Get As Much Love As You Can. I remember that one. At Peace with Woman. That was the one that like I probably played the most. Like she played that one. But and then the one that just the cover is just the Jones Girls. It's the black and white cover. But yeah, man, all that was just again childhood staples. And Nights Over Egypt was a song that I loved always as a kid. Just always loved that song. Covered it in '08, I want to say. Me and my man Zoe, we covered it with Carlita Duran singing lead on it. And when we were doing it, Carlita, she was like, "Yeah, these lyrics, like women fallaheen where veils to be seen. Like, what is this song about?" And I was like, I really don't know what this song's about. Like this shit is just an amazing groove. Yeah, I mean, it feels good. It's a classic. That bass line is fucking I mean, So yeah, man. Nights Over Egypt is just classic song, classic. I think that's Dexter Marcel and Cynthia Biggs, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'll look that up. It's a good fact you're adding there.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's it's Dexter. Make sure I'm not I got my joint right. Yep, it is. Yep. It's Dexter Wansell. I mean Dexter Wansell and Cynthia Biggs. Just an amazing songwriting team that wrote, I mean, countless records for Philly International. So yeah, man, it's a classic.
You ever heard the group Salt and the song Why?
I know Salt. I don't know if I know that song by name.
Okay.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
know, I know their music. I got some of their stuff. Do they
yeah,
sample
great.
or something? They sample it or they
Uh,
interpolate
I
it?
wouldn't call, yeah, it seems like almost an interpolation, but it's a good song in its own right. I mean, Salt is a great group. You could hear some of their influences in breakbeats, but they kind of make it their own.
Yeah. Nah. I have the Black Is record on vinyl. I got that one, and I got have Cleo Soul's Rose in the Dark. I have that one. But those are the only two that I physically own, but all of their stuff I've played and I'm out. Like they really have a movement, man. They make some beautiful stuff. Very reminiscent, like Charles Stepney kind of stuff. It's kind of very, it puts me in the man frame of that kind of Charles Stepney, that kind of, big. It's just kind of it puts me in that, you know what I mean? I think they're doing a great job with it.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Cleo Soul, great artist on her own. Yeah, I
Yes.
think they have a great
Cleo
movement.
Soul is out of the Cleo Soul, she's Sade for Gen Z. Like she is the like all my little cousins, like they all love Cleo Soul. Like she's that. She holds that space for them.
She has that aura. She
Yeah,
has that
very
aura.
much. Yeah. The aura, the mystique, I'm only gonna come out once every 10 years, like all of that. So yeah, she's holding the Sade space down.
K Tronada, one too many.
Oh man. Oh man. Shouts to my brother Katra, man. That record, that was a record that it came together on Twitter, honestly. It started.
Really?
Yeah, it was this was a while back. This was it was just some dude on Twitter. I cannot remember his name, but it was just a dude on Twitter. He was like, "Yo, it would be dope if Katra and Phonte did the record." And I knew who Katra was, but I didn't know he knew who I was. I was like, yeah, I fuck with Katra, he dope. Word up. And Cager hit me and was like, yo, like, you for real? I'm like, yeah, dog. So he sent me a beat folder of like crazy beats. Like he sent me a beat folder. That shit might have had damn 100 beats in it. You know what I mean? And what's crazy about that folder was so dope. Damn near all that stuff he sent me ended up getting placed. So like there was an early demo version of the beat for Girl for by the internet. Like,
Crazy.
yeah, that beat was in that folder. And I say demo version, but I mean the beat was pretty much, I mean, what you hear is kind of what it was. It just wasn't a song. But it was Girl was in there. It was so much stuff in there, a lot of stuff that it ended up placing. So, but yeah, I did the record, I did it, I sent it to him. I was either about to go on tour or I was about to be taping on the breaks. I was in the middle of something, but anyway, I did it. And like before I did it, he called me, he hit me, he was like, yo, man, like he takes like, yo, you really gonna do it? I guess he thought I was gonna, I wasn't gonna come through. I was like, nah, bro, I promise you, I got you. I just I got you. So I did it and sent it back. And yeah, man, it was just again, just another instance of seeing your influence come through a younger generation and seeing that he, knew who I was, knew the music, grew up on the music, and but was still taking what we did, the spirit of what we did, the spirit of LB, Soulquarians, Dilla, like that whole family tree, and making it palatable and carrying it on to a new audience. And I just thought that was beautiful. And I still think it's amazing, just to see where he's going, just, to being just kind of a kind of worldwide phenom, And so, yeah, man, One Too Many was just the record we did. It was funky. Shit was hard. Uh, yeah, that was it.
Yeah, you did a great job. I think you guys had good chemistry on that track. I really enjoy that song. And you're right. He takes something older and makes it new for a new audience. And I always thought the future's in the past. So I like to see
Man,
what
listen.
he's doing there.
Yeah, man. He really, I saw him my actually first and last time seeing him in person. We was it was at Brooklyn. It was at this club. Was it Output? Was that the name of that club? The club is no
Yeah.
longer there anymore. I think it was Output, but
Yep. It's
he
a
was
club.
doing a DJ set there. We was in New York, and me and a couple of homies, we pulled up on him, and he played a DJ set, and I never forget the first song that he opened with was, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like the first song was "Welcome to the Club" by Blue Magic. Oh, can you hear me? You still got me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can
Okay.
hear you.
You kind of froze. I ain't know something fucked up. Like, hold up. But yeah, it was "Welcome to the Club" by Blue Magic, and I was just like, yo, this dude is crazy. He played "Welcome to the Club" and he played "Chicago" by Roy Ayers. And that was a song, Chicago. That was a record. I had never heard that one before. That was one that got by me. And so I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? And he's playing, I looked this, I was like, Chicago, Roy A. I was like, what? Man, he had that shit rocking. And but just by those two songs, I knew, I'm like, okay, he's a student, just like me, And yeah, so yeah, much love, much respect, my brother Katri, man.
All right. Let's go back in time. Little brother, whatever you say.
Oh man, whatever you say. Man, whatever you say was the record that we did. This had to be every bit of 2000. Man, this might have been '01. This was early. This was early. One of the first songs that we did for the listening. The first song we did as a group was Speed. That was the first song that we ever completed. And then whatever you say might have been like either right after that or within the first 2, 3 songs. That was a pretty early one. But it was a record that, yeah, we did it. We recorded it at my man Comanche at Missy Ann Studios at my man Comanche's apartment. Recorded the song, and I liked it personally. I think we all liked it, but none of us had it in mind as being the first single. Like that was, yeah, that was not an idea, you know. But when we put all the songs up online, whatever you say was the one that everybody was like, "Yo, what is this? This is crazy." So the people kind of chose it, more so than we did, because I never would have guessed that was the one that people would like. But yeah, man, that was the first one. We put that out on 12 inch. It was whatever you say on the A side. Light It Up, and Altitudes on the B side. You know what I mean? Which nowadays, I mean, that could be a damn maxi single. Like you know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers put that out, wouldn't even make no album. Like they just put out them 3 jams. You ride that shit for a year. You know what I mean? But but yeah. So that was it. Those are those first records, and well, whatever you say was in that first batch.
You know, we talked a lot about your music in different times. It's a great song. It was one of the
Thank you,
first
man.
things I've heard from you guys. It seems like you have a fan, Doja Cat.
Yeah, man. Again, just a random day online, and I just start getting all these notifications. People hit me like, what just happened? And they like, yo, Doja Cat is talking about y'all on. Like, what? And so, yeah, man. So I ended up, funny enough, I ended up getting in touch, making contact with her through a mutual friend of ours. And, you know, man, we just, yeah, shouts my man D.O. man. He linked us up, you know what I mean? And, you know, she was just like a nerd, you know what I mean? Like she's, you know what I mean? Super cool, super chill. But I think she was just, you know, a music nerd like us. So we would just kind of text a little bit, whatever. And she, you know, just bigged up our work. And yeah, again, man, you just never know how far these things are gonna go. You just make stuff, you put it out into the world, and just kind of hope for the best. So when it lands in the hands of someone like a Doja, I mean, that's just, I mean, yeah, man, you can't put a price tag on that. That's just God working, bro.
I liked seeing that little video she put out, how much of a fan she is. She is a student of the game. She's a
Mhm.
music person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she comes from a music background. And, you know, as she's both a rapper and a kind of a pop star, I like her music. I like her song Juicy. She's got other good
Mhm.
songs with Post Malone. Like, I like that kind of stuff. It may not be what people who listen to this podcast like, but who gives a shit? I enjoy it.
Yeah, 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 man. Again, I mean, if you come from a student, if you're a student of this, wherever you take it is where you take it. But as long as the foundation is there, you know what I'm saying? A good melody, a good hook, a great vocal performance. You know, those are just things that are timeless, regardless of the genre, regardless of, you know, whatever title or classification. There's just certain bedrocks to good songwriting and good music that are universal. And I think Doja is somebody that embodies that.
Absolutely. Renee and Angela, Imaginary Playmates.
Man, imaginary playmates, Renee and Angela. Man, so Renee and Angela, first of all, let me say Angela Winbush. Angela Winbush is one of the greatest producers, songwriters. I mean, so underrated. I don't think she gets her credit in terms of, you know, just what she did with Renee and Angela, with, you know, all her Isley Brothers run, you know what I'm saying? Her work with Layla Hathaway, you know what I'm saying? On the first album, Layla's first album. I mean, she's just a triple OG in this game. And so Imaginary Playmates was a song I didn't become aware of until after Imaginary Player came out. Because I never had that album. Yeah, I never had the album that was on. I think I have it now, but I didn't have it back then in the day. But yeah, man, Imaginary Playmates, yeah, a song that, again, I would not think to make a rap song out of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's one of my favorite songs on Volume 1. That song is that record came out my freshman year at Central. That was my freshman year of college. And oh my God, we ran that song into the ground. Spit that other shit. That's nice motherfucker shit. Like, I mean, we played that song back and forward. So yeah, Imaginary Playmates, when I found that one, I was like, oh, okay. And you know, to our earlier conversation, that was one of those songs where it was like, this is a great song. A lot of stuff you will find in my years of just looking through samples and digging and stuff, you'll find a song, you'll find a sample, and it's like, okay, Pete got the good part, or Preem got that good part, or Dilla got that. You know what I mean? They would kind of find it. But Imaginary Playmates is one of those songs. I'm like, no, this is dope from top to bottom. Like this is actually a good record. You know what I'm saying? I'll play this in my sets, you know. So yeah, man. Awesome record. Big ups to
Yeah, it's a great end-to-end song. And whatever reason, I just thought you would like it. You seem
Who's
like
on?
a early 80s R&B guy.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Hove kills it. I mean, he's just like in his perfect flow. Like he controls that song.
Yeah.
Obviously, one of the greatest rappers at all time. I like that era of his.
Yeah, that in the volume one, that was a record that again, that was my freshman year. And I think time has been better to it, you know what I mean, than it was, because when it first dropped, it was kind of like, okay, you got a imaginary player, you got 1,000,001, and then you got I know what girls like. Like it was kind of all over the place, kind of up and down. But the records that were on, I mean, damn, cough up a lung, where I'm from, Moss. He said like the records that was fucking on. So I think it has aged with time. I think time has been kinder to it. But at that time, yeah, that record was we played that all the time.
Hell of a song. Let's bring it to one of your newer songs, Last Night in Beverly Hills.
Oh man, Beverly Hills. Oh my God, man. Beverly Hills. That record started. This had to be every bit of like 2018 ish. I want to say. Shouts to my brother Light from Pac Div. That's my man. Me and him just started. We were just talking one night, and he sent me a folder of beats. That was one of the beats that was in there. And he was like, "Yo, man, like who?" I said, "Yo, who did this? This is crazy." And he was like, "That's me, that's Swarvy, shouts to Swarvy, and Devin Morrison." And so at the time, I knew Devin Morrison, he had a record called That's All. Um this crazy. I still run that record. And I was like, man, if it's the same, I was like, yeah, I think I know that kid. I think I know of him, whatever. So he sent me, that folder of beats. The name of the track was titled Beverly Hills. And so a lot of times what I'll do, if producers send me a beat, whatever they name it, I'll try to write to that title. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, well, this is what inspired you to make it, or so I need to kind of compliment that, you know what I mean? So I just wrote the song, Beverly Hills, and I reached out to Devin and was like, yo, bro, you wanna do this? Because it was his track. I mean, he had, I think that's him playing keys on it. So I was like, man, you already on it. You want to get a verse? And he was like, what? You sure? I'm like, hell yeah, get on this joint. And so he did his verse, which was crazy. I love that verse. He just hung that shit. And yeah, man, that record, again, it became like a very successful record. You know what I'm saying? Devin, he is credited for kind of introducing him to just a whole kind of new group of people and really exposing him. And that was something that we always prided ourselves in on this side of just look, if we think you dope, man, hey, we'll put you on. Like, you know what I mean? Giving new talent a shot, So yeah, that was how Beverly Hills came together. Shouts to my brothers like Swarvy and Devin Morrison. That's on
Yeah,
my
great
Pacific
work.
EP. Thank you.
Yeah, great work on that song. I think it's a good collaboration. Good. I really enjoyed that song.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, yes. I mean, you've done so many things, all from a kind of core creativity, but so many different types of artistic expression. If you were to look on the next season of your life, your next phase, and if it were to be successful, what would have happened?
Oh man, if the next phase of my life is successful, what would have happened? Uh, I think if the next phase of my life is successful, I will be a skinny old man. That's yo, bro. Listen, listen, man. I never forget. I was in like fourth grade, and our teacher, like our health teacher, he went around like asking us like, what you want to be, what you want to do, whatever, whatever. And he started off. He was like, I'll start off first. My name is so and so. I can't remember his name, but he was like, my goal is to be a skinny old man. You know, and, I never at the time he said it, we just laughed. I mean, we in fourth grade. We didn't think about this shit. But like as I get older and as, you see people pass and you see, especially in hip hop, seeing, Fife and Dave and Biz and, the list goes on and on, like really seeing your big brothers die, that saying takes on a lot more weight, you know what I mean? And just the thought of like, you know what? Like, if you live to be a skinny old man, like you made it. You know what I mean? Like straight up and down. So yeah, if that I assess for me, yeah. If I'm successful, yep, I'll be a skinny old man playing records. Still dropping, still playing records, still, bringing the funk to the people and still having a good time. So that's my goal.
I see many more years of success taking totally different forms. Some rapping, some singing, some filmmaking, acting. There's no limit for you, brother.
Thank you so much, man.
And I see you growing to a ripe old age, being a skinny old man.
Oh, yo, in a healthy way. And I be specific. You gotta be specific about what you put into the world, because you can say you a skinny old man and you get some fucking Ebola or some shit and you lose 100. I don't want to lose it like that. I want to be a healthy skinny old man. You know what I mean? So let me preface with that. But yeah,
I
that
see
oh,
I see nothing but success and health and happiness for you, brother, for sure.
I accept it and receive it, brother. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Appreciate your time, brother.
Man, thank
Peace.
you, man. Yeah, for sure. Peace.
All right.